shit through a goose or something like that.
So Tom has not listened to all the stuff with regards to the whole concept of not owning any property. So what's really cool about hearing you speak is when you challenge people on all of the assumptions and presumptions that we make that we don't realize that we're doing. So great reminders.
Well, am I challenging, or I just asking? Maybe you guys know something more than I do. Is that a challenge?
Well, for many people, being asked is challenging. So just a different word meaning the same thing for many people.
I know there's asking offends people time to time. I think I ran into an undercover cop the other night at well, I didn't run into him, but met up with one because the only one I see get that offended that quick when you're asking questions are police.
Yeah.
And this guy, he started, what's your name? And I said, your name? What makes you think I own a name? Everybody owns a name, he started right off the bat. Next thing you know, it went from good to bad. He got pissy and he left.
Little bit of ego in there, eh?
Well, I think he was an undercover cop. That's what I think. He was a new face in the bar. I was just trying to make new friends, as usual, you know.
Yeah. You must have heard of Charlie Sprinkle then.
Sounds familiar.
Charlie Sprinkle was if you Google on YouTube, if you look up Charlie Sprinkle, there's about a 7-minute interview with him. He's the one that was driving or operating a vehicle in the state of California without a driver's license for 30 some odd years, and very interesting story and kind of a quick one there.
I'm going on being without a driver's license for about 20 years now or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's 20. Yeah, it's getting around 20.
Now, one of your fairly recent conversations that's online, you mentioned that if things go the way that you think they're going to go, you may end up getting a driver's license. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, well, it'd be a lot easier than have to screw with the cop if he runs the plate and says it's somebody you best not mess with. I mean, would that be better?
Well, if you should watch that Charlie Sprinkle video. I'll find it and Skype it to you.
I might have seen it already. So
he's got a different approach on it, and he explains himself very well. But the Motor Vehicle Act, where we are living here, and I think the Motor Vehicle Act's in a lot of jurisdictions, they talk about there being an owner of a vehicle, driver, and operator, and Charlie doesn't drive a car. He travels.
Oh, yeah, that's just semantics. I know what you're saying. The point of the matter is, if they're going to give me a driver's license and a plate to put on a vehicle that I'm using, who cares?
Yeah.
Why go through the bullshit? When they run the number, they're going to go the other way. They ain't even going to pull you over. Might not even get out of the car. They might turn the lights on, or they'll call the plate, and then the next thing you know, they'll wave at you and go away. Isn't that simple? I mean, to me, that's the way to do it.
Now, doesn't that kind of contradict the traditional position of people with regards to the fact that you've accepted the rules by applying for the license and therefore you're now within their jurisdiction?
Oh, you're in their jurisdiction if you're just using something. You know why people get in their jurisdiction? Have you been listening to the back calls?
Yeah. It's through voluntary consent and accepting.
They go in there claiming the name. They claim ownership. Right there, they give the court jurisdiction. There's a controversy concerning the name. And what if you're just using it? Where's the controversy? The one who laid the claim now gets the liability. So, fine. You want it? Have it.
Okay, so you're presenting the driver's license and the registration, and at the same time you're saying, I don't claim those names, I'm just using them?
I never say I'm not. I say, hey, is this what you're looking for? Well, the state says I could use this. Are you sure you want to take liability for it?
And how would they be taking liability for it?
Once they put it in their hands.
Okay.
Who owns it then? Who's got possession of it?
All right, so the possession is 9/10 of the law ownership issue.
So they tell me.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the problem if I'm using it? Is it a crime if I use it, Your Honor? Did I damage anybody by using this?
Right.
But besides, I think most of the licenses, I don't know, the use doesn't say more or less property of the state, which is a fiction. I mean, so fine, it's the states, man. You want it here? Talk to the state about it.
Yeah. I remember a few years ago hearing somebody say, "Is this to the cop saying, is this your is this you?" As he points to the license, and he goes, "No, this is me. That's just an image."
Well, I'd ask him, "What do you mean by you? Is this you?
Yeah.
What's your definition of you?" It looks like a piece of paper to me, but you call it whatever you want, I guess. You know, how are we going to have a meeting of the minds till I know what he talks about? Is this you? What's that? Is this you? What kind of question is that?
Interesting.
Is this you? Does that look like a you? Looks like a piece of paper. A you's got horns, man.
Now, they don't like that kind of stuff, obviously, because it's playing with the words. But
Is it?
well, as far as they're concerned,
What do you think? What do you think they're doing?
what do you think? Yeah, what do you think they're doing? Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, you want to play? I'll play.
It's all
Took me years-
assumptions.
Took me years to get this attitude. It's fun now.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask about this theory about that everything is already paid for. Is it do you think that when the government creates the name, they create a trust kind of account? And does that trust account have assets in it, or just liabilities?
Who knows? What's assets? What one believes they need at the moment. Other than that, what good is it? And besides, is everything here? It's already here? Money's just an illusion, if you ask me, for people who think they got one step above their brother. I mean, other than that, what is it?
Yeah, it's for commerce.
Hey, I trust you'll do the honorable thing. I'm here to trust. They say money's it's the good faith and credit of the people, or the trust of the people. Other than that, what's good is it? If you go to one so-called country and they don't want to take the American dollars anymore, what good is it going down there with them? You know?
Right.
I mean, it's all one's perception of what it is at the moment. People think that piece of paper is worth more than a loaf of bread. Fine, here, have it. I'm hungry. I want the loaf of bread. See?
Well, has anybody tried to gain assets or gain their share of the country?
What do you mean gain their share of the country? What do you want? You got what you need at the moment?
No, like let's say you don't have a house, and so how do you pay for it if you don't have their money?
What do you mean pay for it? Find one nobody's using, move in it, and see what happens.
Oh, well, they'd send the sheriff to get you evicted.
How do you know that? Have you done it yet? And why are they going to evict you? The only thing they have jurisdiction over is tenants, homeowners, and occupants. What evidence do you have that I'm any one of those? Where was you when I moved on this place? I mean, you know? Well, Bank of America, you know, they repossessed the house, or not repossessed they closed on this house. Oh, they closed on this house.
Foreclosed.
Foreclosed. You mean to tell me the account's settled then? Well, what's the problem if I use it?
Yeah, we don't have that problem here. The problem here is the prices of houses are ridiculously high.
Well, that's because you believe there's such a thing as money.
Well, how do you gain access to a property if you don't transact with the person who's the owner?
What I would do if I felt I had a need for a house, I'd probably look for one that was foreclosed, the bank foreclosed on, which is now it's an abandoned property, and I might give them notice, and I want to ask if there's anybody here who's laying claim to this property, and I'd like to talk to them face to face.
Oh, okay.
Because they're going to say, well, Bank of America owns it. Oh, well, can I meet Mr. Bank of America? Because I want to give notice, since there's nobody there, I'm using it. Any objections? And if anybody objects, on what grounds you objection? well, I represent Bank of America, and he says you can't do that. Oh yeah, well, I want to talk to Bank of America. Never mind you. You're just giving hearsay information here. Is that admissible in court now? See?
Ah, interesting.
Think about it. It's all in our faces. The problem is you're either claiming ownership or you're using it. You know? If you claim ownership, you're going to get taxed. How can you pay tax if you own nothing? You're just using Federal Reserve notes or whatever, Canadian dollars or whatever. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
using them. Are they yours? No. You're just using them. So what's the problem? You get what you need? What's the problem? The world's here. Take what you need if nobody else is using it. Everybody, thinks these corporations exist, and they get all scared. Credit companies and all that. I want to meet them.
Yeah, they're legal fictions.
Whatever.
I have a question with regards to your BAT calls and training
BAT
process. Well, the BAT calls, excuse me.
Accuse me of charging my brothers.
You obviously, or you apparently do some form of teaching by providing the information and your experiences on the calls. And I was wondering that if you what's your level of interest in helping to bring people's awareness to this information, like you want to learn more in a slightly more structured manner so people can, follow it in a little bit more,
Detailed fashion.
educational, detailed fashion that would probably help people get started in understanding it, because a lot of it is spoken at a fairly high level of understanding.
Is it?
Like, for many people, yeah. And if you were to start somebody from scratch, you wanted to learn this stuff, like, what were the first things that you would want them to understand or think differently about?
First thing I want to ask them, do they know who the problem is?
Yeah. Yeah, they're the problem.
Well, that depends on the individual. I've talked to many people, and I haven't talked to much after I've talked to them because they still believe everybody else is the problem. So, it's each his own opinion. But far as what level, what do you think I'm doing now?
Well, that's what I say. You are doing it now, and because a lot of the questions that are asked and a lot of the answers that are given are asked and answered from a certain level of education and understanding that new people wouldn't necessarily have.
Well, I'd say everybody has it, because you know what I've been telling people, the way I see it anyway, is forget all this bullshit you learned and go back to being a little child. You already know how to do that. I'm in kindergarten when I get in that courtroom or before a police officer. How can I help you? Oh, what do you mean by this? Oh, gee, exactly what is this? Or how can I help you? You see?
Yeah. So you don't assume anything, you ask the questions.
Well, until you understand pretty much, a meeting of the minds with the individual, where are you going to go with it? Come as a little child. See? What's there to learn about that? We're all born with it.
It's to a large degree unlearning
Well,
the bad habits, right?
Yeah, in a sense, we've come to the belief that we own something and we're in charge of what's going on. I'd say good luck. Like people says, oh, I want freedom. Yeah. Well, even if you had freedom, when's the last time you visited the moon? What if you wanted to go to the moon? You think you're free to go there? Is there such a thing as freedom? Huh?
Right. Well, it isn't in this society where the government has the need to control everything.
Oh, well, there you go now, blaming the government. You're blaming, it's like blaming Tinkerbell for your problems. Tinkerbell wants to control everything. Think about it.
Well, the government has given itself the authority to use police to enforce their will. So,
Is it? Or is the government, what's the government made of, allegedly?
The people.
Yeah. You ever think of them cops or the police or the councilman or whatever, or the judge as your brother or sister? And could it be the way you treat them is the way they treat you?
Well, no, that all makes sense to me. It's just that, like you alleged to earlier, when you try to have a conversation with a policeman, oftentimes they see it as a challenge to their authority, and they're the guys with the guns and the sticks, and they don't want to listen to your point of view. They're trained to solve problems by hauling people to jail or whacking them or something.
Yeah, that may appear so, but I've found, and many times I thought I was going to, well, not many, but a few times I thought I was going to get whacked by them the way I did it, but they freaking stayed in honor.
Okay.
Not with me, and I'll tell you, I told a cop one night I was going to kill him. They took me around back a building, not the cop I told, but a couple other cops who was going to teach me a lesson. And when they got me there, I figured it was coming, and now they said to me, "What do you got to say now, tough guy?" And more or less, and I says, "Would you believe me if I told you I was sorry?" And I laughed, and they didn't beat me up. It was
interesting.
All right. This is in the younger days, or the car she uses anyway, and she made a call to the police. Emailed them, I guess. It was on the last call. I might put it up on the back calls. I probably should. But now she's got people come and say, "Hey, I think there's some people you could help you on your journey." From the chief of police.
Really?
Yeah, imagine that.
Interesting.
The police are not our enemy. They're our friends. They're going to teach us how to get it right, even if it kills us. I'm telling
you. Very interesting. I've never heard of anybody being able to go to the IRS and getting them to wipe out a tax bill.
Well, you're talking about wiping out a tax bill. No, the only reason there's a tax bill is because somebody claimed ownership, creating a controversy. They ain't wiping out. They can zeroly account at any time. The only thing they need to know is whether you're using it or owning it. Could it be that simple?
Interesting. No, you just said something there that I didn't hear in any of the other tapes, and that's really salient. Huh.
Would they know the difference between using it and owning it?
It's their job. What do you think? The lower echelon might give you a hard time, but it's going to take time. You've been doing it all your life, and all of a sudden you think overnight they're going to just say, "Hey, this guy's got it." Bullshit. You're going through the fire, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's their job. They're the gatekeepers, man. Left hand of God, I call them. They're going to find out which side. You're either going to go to the right hand of God or you're going in the fucking trash barrel. It depends on your actions. They'll know you by your fruits. Think about it.
Huh. That's interesting. So when a person thinks that they're standing up for their rights, they're actually causing a controversy.
Well, can you prove you have any rights?
No.
See? So it's kind of fucking crazy to go out there. I got rights, yeah. Send this guy for a psych eval. I'm with the judge on that one.
Well, there are pieces of paper in countries like, the Bill of Rights, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's for a bunch of assholes that think they got rights. My opinion.
What about liberties?
Well, liberty, if you got liberty, isn't it just the sense of the word? Somebody gave you liberty? And now you're bitching about what they gave you? What are you, fucked up?
No, my interpretation from the difference between rights and liberties is the rights are more of what they've been given, and the liberties are more of what God's given.
Well, what you ever been served time on a ship?
No.
What did they give you though? They give you liberty, shore leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now somebody gives you liberty. If somebody gives liberty, how can you claim liberty? I want my liberty. Does that make sense? If you got liberty, why are you claiming it?
what is the biblical? Since I get the impression a lot of the philosophy and processes that you teach are biblically based.
Well,
Is that correct?
It appears to me that, until you experience it, though, how you going to know? But a lot that I read in the so-called Bible holds to be true. And the truth is self-evident, so I've been told. And if people ever stop to think about the shit they're claiming, what truth is it in there?
Yeah. That's super deep.
Is it? Hey, I'm just an asshole, man. What do I know?
No, it really is. Well, all truth has layers of deepness to it. That's one of the interesting things about the Bible is that it's like an onion.
Yeah.
It makes you cry.
Well, yeah. Well, it's hard to attack the Bible because it's got so much truth in it.
Well, the thing of it is the Bible, the way I was taught the Bible in the beginning, always confused me. And then all of a sudden it started to be so simple. It's weird when I found, hey, I'm screwing up here. And when I started taking little steps, all right, let me see what I can do to get this one right. And it just progresses. Now I'm not saying that I got it right, but I'm just saying it appears to me it's right because I'm more at peace than I've ever been, if that makes any difference.
Yeah. Huh.
And this is the kind of way I look at things now. It's all here to use, man. What's the problem?
So every time you claim ownership, whether it's claim ownership of property or the name or anything like that, then you cause a problem.
There's a controversy.
Yeah.
It's like the cross. What side of the cross you on? I believe it says in there, Christ allegedly said, I offer you the kingdom of heaven. He didn't say I gave it to you. He offered it to you, more or less. Offered it for you to use. It's your choice. You want to come now or not? One said, I accept the offer, and he said, right at this very moment, you're in the kingdom. The other one said, fuck no, I want to own it. Fine, here's the bill.
Yes.
Think about it.
Yeah. No, your discussion of Christ before Pontius Pilate was also an excellent example.
Yeah, he gives you out there how to deal with the courts, all in a nutshell. That's where I get it from. I cringe when I hear people, Batman's method. Give me a fucking break, people. I told you where it come from. Why are you blaming me for it?
Yeah, the fact that he was accused, he said, you say I am.
Yeah.
You say I am the king of the Jews. But he didn't rebut their assumption.
The name. He asked the question, you Robert so-and-so, you say I am. See? You king of the Jews, you say I am. It's name, it's claiming ownership. Christ, from what I gather, I don't recall him anywhere in the scriptures claiming ownership. Even when he was in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, allegedly Satan or the devil, whatever you want to call him, maybe the ego, tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, man, all you got to do is bow down to me. Claim ownership. I'll give you the world. And he said, you know what he said? Why would I want to do that? Why buy the cow when I get the milk for free? I'm paraphrasing here,
No, it's really interesting. It's a really interesting way of looking at it.
It's all through the scriptures, man. Even the Old Testament talks about it. You don't tax or if you're brothers, man, we're here using everything, and there's no tax, there's no usury with brothers, because we know it's here to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
Could it be the Illuminati's got the right idea? That's why so many people are out there calling them names?
They have the right idea how?
They honor one another. They honor everyone, unless people go into dishonor, and then they give them what they want. You want dishonor, you get dishonor. You want to stay in honor, you'll find honor.
So, I used to always tell people that wars were fought over real estate. Everybody wants to own real estate.
You know what wars are fought over? People's egos. They think they own something. Real estate, yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And that's why I figure, I hope not, but the way it looks, 2/3 of the world, the ones that claim ownership, are going to kill each other off. And the 1/3 of the world that's just using it are going to be just fine and dandy.
Hmm.
What are you going to fight over if you're just using it? Can you, you need it? I ain't using it. Let them have it. You'll find you'll get tenfold when you need it.